Amita Dotto, exponent of Kathak and professor of dance at Rabindra Bharati University, Kolkata. I will be teaching you Abhinaya in Kathak from the Bachelor of Performing Arts Foundation course. I will be teaching Shloka and Gat Bhava. With me are 5 disciples who will enact what I teach and so help you learn. In this lesson, we will again learn Abhinaya. But before we progress further, I would like to find out how much you remember of the technical terms that we discussed in the last lesson. I had mentioned 4 kinds of Abhinaya. Could you name them?
Angik, Vachik, Aharya, Satvik.
Good. And I had also told you that of the 3 types or 3 divisions of Nartan, 2 are performed with the help of Abhinaya. Could you name them?
Natya and Natya.
Good. So today you qualify for further lessons. Nritya, I had said, is expressive dance, and generally certain sentiments or certain ideas or even a mood is conveyed through Nritya. And I had told you that Natya is dramatic dance in which there is a story, in which there is a plot, in which there are several characters, and in which the various incidents progress in time. That is, the story begins at a certain time and then it goes on further in time. Today we will learn Natya. And of the 4 Abhinayas, this item will employ 2, Angik and Satvik. That is, we will use gestures, we will use our body and our limbs to convey certain ideas, and we will also think about it and feel from within, and our facial expression will bring out our thoughts. In this item, words are not used. Hence, there is no Vachik Abhinaya as such. And as you will perform this finally on the stage as a solo piece, we will also not depend on Aharya Abhinaya. This item is called a Gat Bhava. Gat Bhava. Gat means that which is dependent on movements. So it is Angik Abhinaya, and Bhava is that which is dependent on expression. So Satvik Abhinaya comes in. In Gat Bhavas, stories are enacted just with the help of movements and facial expression. In Kathak, we have several very well known Gat Bhavas. These have been composed by gurus of Kathak, and since the Kathak dance style has been influenced by the Vaishnavite cult, we have many stories dealing with Krishna and his various antics. Generally, Vatsalya Ras, or the sentiment of the mother for the child, is a very popular theme in Vaishnavite literature. In fact, it is believed that if you look on God as your child, then you have that selfless devotion towards God as a mother has towards her child. I have chosen Makhan Chori as the theme of our Gat Bhava. I am sure all of you know the story of Makhan Chori.
Yes.
Makhan means butter and Chori means stealing. And we all know stories about how Krishna used to steal butter. Now some people wonder why the son of Nand should need to steal butter, because there is so much of butter in his own house. But again, according to the Vaishnavites, the idea is that butter comes from the cream of milk. So Krishna always takes that which is best in the world and gives it to his followers, as Krishna takes the butter and gives it to his friends. Now here the story begins with Yashoda churning butter. Now in those days, butter was made by all women who had cows, who were associated with the village culture. They enjoyed making butter because it was also a place where many women gathered together and churned butter. And so here the story begins with Yashoda churning butter, and then after she has churned the butter, she puts it in a little earthenware pot, something like this, and here is another bigger pot. So she puts the butter in the pot and then she hangs it from the ceiling of her house. And then she goes about doing her other chores. Now little Krishna comes with all his friends and they see that there is no one around to see what they will be doing, and so they try to spot where the butter is kept. I am sure Yashoda knew that something like this would happen. That's why she kept the butter high up. And so here when they finally discover that the butter is hung from the ceiling, well, they try to jump, they try to throw stones at the butter, but then nothing can be done. Then Krishna suddenly feels that if they stand on each other's shoulder, then finally they can reach the butter. So that's what they do. They stand on each other's shoulder, and then finally Krishna stands on top of all of them, and then as he touches the pitcher of butter, he loses balance, he falls, and the pitcher falls too. And so there's a big mess, but there's lots of butter also. And so they help each other to butter. Krishna has quite a bit of it, and he's very generous. He gives it to all his friends, and all of them have a wonderful time eating all the butter, and while having the wonderful time, they even make a wonderful mess all around, and the butter is everywhere. So after they have enjoyed themselves, they also make sure, although they can't do anything about the mess on the ground, they make sure that there is no mess on their face, and so they rub the butter away from their face and they pretend as if nothing has happened. And most of the friends also out of fear disappear. Now it is time for Yashoda to come back, and when she comes back, she sees all the mess and she knows what has happened, because obviously this is not the first time that it has happened. And then she feels so bad that all the hard work, all the morning's work has been destroyed, because there are no more pitchers up there when all the butter has been spoiled. And so she starts scolding Krishna. And Krishna in the beginning tries to deny it and say that no, I have not done it, I have not done it. And then Yashoda says that I don't understand why you have to steal butter. You can always get it whenever you want. Why do you have to steal butter like this? You do it from my house, you do it from other people's houses, and I feel so ashamed and so embarrassed that my son, who can have all the butter that he can ask for, has to finally steal butter. And Yashoda is very angry. But then Krishna tries to explain that no, he hasn't stolen the butter. And then finally, when he realizes that this is not working, he says that no, he has done it and he's very sorry and he won't do it again. And all these things happen everywhere in each of our houses. We all have little children in our houses and we all know what they do. They first try to deny what they have done and then they finally admit it. And Yashoda, while she is scolding Krishna, she really cannot hide the fact that she loves him very much. And in fact, she feels very bad that she has to scold this child because, even while scolding, she wants to really hug and caress the child. And so finally, she also starts laughing, because, she just can't contain her laughter at seeing all the antics of this child. And then finally, what happens is that she herself takes whatever butter is remaining and gives it to Krishna. And Krishna goes on having the butter and enjoying himself, and then they hug each other and they are very, of course they are very fond of each other and they show it. So this is the very sweet story of Yashoda and Krishna. And the story is well known. I have told you the story just to revise all the ideas, but when you're performing it on the stage, while you're dancing, there will be no words to help you. Your actions, your facial expression, your movements will convey the entire story. Now, revising the idea of Natya, here there are two characters, Yashoda and Krishna. We have their interaction. And the story moves on in time in the sense that it begins with Yashoda churning the butter. Then she leaves, Krishna comes with his friends, then they break the pitchers, they have so that we are going forward in time. Then again Yashoda comes back, then some time is spent on their dialogue, and then finally when they are reconciled and when Yashoda again gives Krishna the butter. So this is Natya or dramatic dance, and in Kathak it is called Gat Bhava because we have movement and expression. Generally, Gat Bhavas are performed to Tritaal, although various other tals may also be used, but Tritaal is a very attractive and a very pliable tal because you can use it in many ways. You can use it in various tempos, and again it's very easy to keep in mind with the 4/4 division. Today we will learn Gat Bhava to Tritaal. So I'm sure you're interested in learning this. There are certain things to keep in mind while performing a Gat Bhava. Although a drama is being enacted, this is not theatre, it is dance, which is set to a particular tala. And so the sum of the tala and the dominant beats have to be followed. Major actions always take place at the sum. Characters also change at the sum. And in Tritaal, since the khali is halfway in the tal, so the sum and the khali are both important. Then again, since the solo dancer will be performing more than one character, how do we change the characters? First of all, we have to imagine the entire drama being enacted within a certain space. And so the easiest way is that if there is a dialogue going on between two characters, the two characters stand in two different spots. So one person is here and the other person is again here. So each time this person speaks, he speaks from here and this person from this spot. Again, we have what is called a palta. A palta literally means reverse. Here, palta refers to a reverse of a pirouette. This is typical of Gats, and we use the Urdhva Hasta Chakra to turn first from the right and then from the left. So in the beginning, when different characters are being established, we use the palta. And then after they have been established, every time you don't use the palta, you can just take a chakkar and change the spot. Each movement has to be in rhythmic compliance with the tal. Here we are using Drut Tritaal. But instead of using our feet with each beat, we do it on alternate beats. So our footwork is actually in half the time of the tempo being played. That is on the first, third, fifth, seventh, ninth, 11th and so on beats. So I will just show you how we can walk. We have the ta thei thei tat a thei thei tat foot of the tatkar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. With this we are moving forward, back, sideways, going around like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We can move in any direction we want to, but in keeping with the tal. I will just show you the walk. Direction you want to according to the requirements of the story, but this footwork has to be adhered to. Now the palta. We start the actual palta from the sum, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But sometimes to make it a little more decorative, we can start the movement before the sum, like we can use this movement, but the actual palta in which the hand goes up starts from the sum. I will show you 2 or 3 different types of palta. In the first, I started from this point, ta thei thei tat. In the second, I started with ta thei thei tat. Then again, like I started before the sum because I did this action, but actual palta started again from the sum. The third one, I started even before when I did this and this action, but as always, the actual palta starts from the sum. Now this palta, when starting from the sum, you start from here, but in our gharana, generally this movement is done, where the body is turned back, so that when it is released, the palta looks even more forceful. Now after taking the palta, you establish a certain character. Generally for women, especially married women, the easiest way is to show the ghungat or the veil. Now here we take the veil, cover the face, then like the veil is from here to here covering the face, then I'm just shifting it a little so that I can see. So here we start by showing a lady, and again I can also do this where I take this veil, hold this with my hand and see. in this way. The mudras are this for holding the veil, this for shifting the veil. Now here, Yashoda is shown, and she will be carrying a pitcher of milk, the milk which she is going to use to make the butter. So it's a pitcher like this, or maybe slightly little bigger, and she holds it here. So this hand is used and this hand is used. But again, if she has to walk with a veil, she can use this, the right hand, to see where she is going by shifting the veil, and this hand will hold the pitcher. So I will show you Yashoda, and she is going to the place where she is going to churn the butter. On the ground, and then she shows the receptacle in which she will make the butter. She pours the milk into the receptacle, then she places the rod for the churning in the middle of the receptacle. Taking a rope, she ties it around the rod and then starts churning the butter. Butter, she does not like the consistency, and so again she churns it. She likes the consistency. Then she takes the rod and takes the butter that is stuck to the rod, puts it into the pitcher. She keeps the rod aside. Then she puts all the butter into her pitcher. Is a little heavy now, so she moves slowly. She looks at a spot where she can keep the pitcher. Then she raises the pitcher onto her head, lifts herself on her toes. She's happy. She's happy with the work she has done. And so she goes about her other work. Let's all do it together now. First, a few steps to establish the rhythm. Palta. Take the pitcher. Hold the pitcher. Sit down. Keep the pitcher on the floor. Show the receptacle. Pour the milk into the receptacle. Take the rod, place it in the middle. Take the rope, tie it onto the rod. Now you start the butter churning. Look, don't like the consistency, again, churning. Yes, you like the butter. Then you lift some of the butter onto the pitcher. Take the rod, scrape off the butter from the rod, keep it inside the pitcher. Keep the rod aside. Now you go on lifting the butter. Then you gradually get up. You have to get up a little slowly because it's now heavy with the butter. Now, try to see a spot where you can keep it. Now you lift the pitcher onto your head, raise yourself on your toes. Now you're happy with your morning's work. So this is the first part of the Gat Bhava, in which we are showing Yashoda. The next part starts with a Palta, in which little Krishna comes along, and you know what happens. So we'll leave that for the next lesson.